For this week's stats homework, I'm going to start off to show how I graph this. So I put the hours of studying right here and the number of cups of coffee right here. In order to make this graph, I put the hours of studying on the bottom and the cups of coffee here. To plot my first point, you look at 0.5 hours of studying. You can find that right here, and it correlates with 3 cups of coffee, and that's why the 0.5 meets up with the 3 right here. The same goes for 4 hours of studying and 0 cups of coffee. You can see it's 4 hours of studying and 0 cups of coffee. Next, I'm going to explain how I found the mean. So these numbers right here are from the hours of studying. I added up all these numbers and then I counted how many numbers total, which is 6. So to get the mean, you add them all up, divide it by 6, and I got 2.25 hours of studying. I did the same thing for the numbers of cups of coffee or tea consumed. And so I added up these numbers and divided it also by 6 because there are 6 numbers in that column. And I got 1.5 cups of coffee/tea. Now to find the standard deviation, the numbers are used from the graph shown in the last page. And this would be the mean, and the mean was 2.25 for hours of studying, as we saw on the page before. So we took 3 hours of studying minus 2.25 because that's the mean, and we got 0.75, and we have to square that because we found that if we added those all up, it would actually just come to 0. So that's why these are all squared. And you do the same for the rest of the data, and you subtract it by the mean. I added those answers all up to get 7.375. And then what I did was subtracted the amount of numbers, which is 6, minus 1, and put 7.375 over that. And then I took the square root of that result, which was 1.215. I also did the same for the cups of coffee. I took their data and subtracted it by that mean, which was 1.5, as you can see, subtracted by 1.5, and I had to square root all those answers too and added them all up to get 5.5. I then had to take 5.5 divided by 6 minus 1 again to get 1.1, and I took the square root of 1.1, which is 1.05, to get the standard deviation. So this is a standard deviation of studying, and this is a standard deviation of the cups of coffee/tea. And then, in order to find Pearson's R, I made a chart to show it a little bit easier. First, what I did was took the data from the last page to help me out and put it here. So this X is the mean. So what we did was take the data minus the mean, which in this case, this was X, so you take it from here, 3 minus the mean for that, which was 2.25, to get 0.75, and the same for these. For this chart, you can see what you do is you multiply this number from this number, and then you get these numbers. And this number is the same as this, except for the coffee column, which is the data minus the mean. So you add these numbers up, and I got negative 6.25. I then used the formula found in the notes. To find Pearson's R, I took negative 6. Before that, we have to find these numbers. And so what you do is you take the square root of the data minus the mean and you square it. So I got 0.5625, 0.0625, and I added them all together to get 7.375 for the studying, and the same in this column for the cups of coffee. And then that's when I took 0.625 over the square root of 7.375 times 5.5, and reminder, those numbers are from this calculation right here. And then I converted it and calculated it to get a Pearson's R of 0.9813. What I found in this correlation, it suggests that the more a person studied, the less coffee they consumed. and the more coffee someone consumed, the less studying they did. This shows a consistent relationship.